Table for tonight at least, while for Gully a win will see them move within a point of 9th place South Melbourne and keep some faint finals hopes alive. Thanks for joining us for this one. My name is Steve Curtin. Looking forward to bringing you all the action in this return match. And it's not only great the football is back, but it's also great once again to have beside me, I'm joined by the sublime football nous of Mr. Craig Filer.
Sublime football nous, I'll take that every day of the week. Good evening, Steve. Good evening, listeners. Hope everybody's well after a few weeks of no football, and by God, it's great to be back, although it is horrendously windy up here at Green Gully Reserve tonight. But thankfully, we've got a nice little vantage point up in the nice and warm area. The cameraman's very happy, and I'm sure the quality of the audio and the visual will be superb for you. So enjoy the game.
There you go. Well, we're certainly happy to be out of the wind. It's blowing an absolute gale from a northerly direction here, and you can see on the shot there that the corner flags are at 45-degree angles to the playing surface. Now, some team news before we get underway here with this 8 o'clock kickoff for Green Gully. It's one change to their side that drew with South Melbourne 1-1 in their last outing a couple of weeks back, and they bring in T-Boy Kamara, who replaces Anthony Polyak, and Polyak will drop to the bench. While for the Bentleigh Greens, just the one change to that side that defeated Heidelberg United at Heidelberg 3-0 just before the lockdown. And it is the talisman, the goal-scoring hero, Pierce Waring, who's out of the squad tonight, and he's replaced in the starting 11 by Kieran Dover. So those starting lineups I'll get through for you in just a moment as we're underway, and it's Green Gully in their home kit, and they're playing into the breeze in this first half, and nearly 1 or 2 problems there for the Bentleigh Greens defence as that ball hung up in the air. Bentleigh Greens in their chain strip tonight, the orange shirts that stand out almost like construction workers at the roadside. They're ready to continue their winning ways, no doubt looking good at the pointy end of the table coming into the right time of the season. As we've got a problem here, and it's Braden Crowley. Well, Green Gully, that is not the start they wanted inside 1 minute, and Braden Crowley scores the easiest goal that he's probably scored in his senior career, Craig.
Yeah, that's a strange goal to start with. Really dodgy trying to play in your area there in the first couple of minutes. Just get settled. But fantastic start for Bentleigh Greens, but a very, very poor start for Green Gully, Steve.
Yes, well, you know it's a good start when we haven't even got through the starting lineups for you, as that pass there and lack of communication with that massive headwind here that Green Gully's playing into between Jordan Hall and Jared Tyson there sees them come unstuck. Braden Crowley, well, he scores his. That will make it his 8th goal of the season, and he one-ups his teammate Pierce Waring, who was stuck on 7 and not playing tonight. Now, just those starting lineups for you. Jared Tyson in goal for the home side. The back four is the Sean Timmins, Ko de Godoy, Jordan Hall, the captain Jez Walker. In midfield, Jay Davies, Matt Crooks and Luke Jago. The front three is Mamadi Kamara, Alex Salmon and T-Boy Kamara. For the visitors in goal, Javier Lopez, the back four of Jacob Alexander, Ben Carrigan, the captain Jack Webster and Daniel Bowman. Across the midfield, George Lambateridis and Corey Sewell sitting deep with an advanced three of Alex Caniglia, Kieran Dover and Mitch Hall, with Braden Crowley leading the line and already on the score sheet in this fixture.
Yeah, Steve, the wind is going to make a huge difference tonight. As we're looking at the screen, it's coming from left to right, blowing right into the faces of the Green Gully players. And we saw right from the kickoff that ball was being held up. So I think there's going to be a game of many mistakes throughout the evening, Steve. But the pitch is looking fantastically good. But I suppose so it should. There's been no traffic on there for the last month.
Yeah, the pitch is looking excellent. They had the sprinklers on before the kick-off just to try and get the ball to distribute up and down the park a bit quicker, and it's probably a good night to be playing it on the floor too, because anything up in the air will just get caught by the wind. Interestingly, when they had the sprinklers on, the wind is so strong out there that it was blowing droplets of water from one end of the pitch over the crossbar at the far end, which is the end at your right of screen, which is the end the wind is favouring. Now the Bentleigh Greens looking to create something down their left-hand side. Ball in aimed at Crowley, and it's cut out by Hall, and he plays it forward quickly. Davies to Salmon. Strong challenge against a couple of Greens opponents, and Jack Morgan indicates a free kick for Gully, and they've taken that one while the ball is still rolling. It's going to have to come back.
Yeah, going to be a really interesting game, Steve. Both sides would have only had probably one training session ahead of today's game. Granted, they would have been doing their own stuff throughout lockdown, but still very difficult to get into a game of this level and be at your best. So I'm sure there's going to be a few, as I said earlier on, a few mistakes on both sides this afternoon or this evening.
That's right. Training on your own, you can certainly kick a number of balls against the wall, but you can't replicate that experience of coming up against another human opponent. And also, it's pretty hard to replicate coming up in conditions like this. I haven't seen a match in such a wind-affected situation going back for probably some years. As Walker on the ball now, playing it all the way back to Tyson. They won't need to hit the back passes too hard tonight, Green Gully, at least in this first half. Jago comes inside, but it's cut out by Crowley. The ball goes out onto that far side. We've got some aircraft taking off from Tullamarine Airport. Always a feature of games at Green Gully Reserve. De Godoy for Timmins. Looking to get the ball forward towards Mamadi Kamara, who gets on the end of it, but runs straight into the brick wall, which is Jack Webster. There's the goal scorer. Crowley draws a crowd. Timmins comes away with the ball. Good interception by George Lambadarides, and he just goes back to Lopez in goal. And Craig, how do you think that the tactic should be for Greens using this, the Bentleigh Greens that is, using this massive wind in this first half? Should it be trying to pass to feet rather than go for the through ball that might just take off?
Yeah, look, I think so, Steve. It's always you got a bit of both, and there's a fantastic ball there from. I'm not sure who passed that there, but it was a fantastic ball over the top. Look, it's a bit of both, Steve. I think if they play diagonal balls as Jack Webster just did there, and they're at the right pace, I think they can play off. Otherwise, it's short, sharp stuff into the centre forward and try and make those runs in behind. For Green Gully, it's going to be even harder because they can't knock those long balls up to the formidable Alex Salmon up top and get him to hold it off, because the ball's not going to get that far. So it's going to be even harder for them. So it's going to be a very difficult game for both sides, as I said earlier on.
Lambadarides goes back to Alexander, plays the ball with the aid of that breeze. And certainly, as the broadcast crew, we're more than happy to be operating from the opposite side of the ground to what you're used to seeing. So we are out of the wind, and our papers had blown away from the moment we'd open our books tonight on the far side, and our attempts to set up over there proved to be futile. This ball hangs in the air for Timmins to bring down. That's well read by Hoare, who's on the charge here, looking to take on De Godoy, and he gets the interception in, and the Bentleigh Greens will earn themselves a early corner kick to try and pile on some more pressure onto Green Gully. And as we said earlier, our match referee tonight, the man referee who needs no introduction, Jack Morgan, the assistant referees, Jordan English and Josh Drakeford, the fourth official, Kevin Horner. And it will be the number 17, which is Alex Caniglia, to play this ball in on his right boot. And it was Dover getting on the end of it. And there's the shot just going past the far post. So second attempt on goal. That was Lambadarides.
Just look at that corner flag on the far side of the pitch there, Steve. You can see how strong that wind is in the faces of the Green Gully backline there. It's going to be very, very difficult. Get it down on the floor and play. Is the order of the day, and try and keep the score down as much as you can in those early stages. Although they haven't done themselves any favour with the first minute goal, which has obviously put them under pressure straight away.
Now Webster goes direct again. It's a foot race with De Godoy, favoured to get it ahead of Crowley.
Good defending.
Good defending by the big Australian-Brazilian central defender who was on the score sheet in the 4th minute, so he's not one shy of scoring an early goal in their last outing at South Melbourne, and it was one of the best headers I've seen in NPL Victoria this season. In terms of quality, it was from something like probably a good 14, 15 yards out. It wasn't like it was from super close range, and from a corner kick he arrowed it in and gave the Green Gully side the best possible start in that particular fixture that they drew 1-1 with the South Melbourne side there at Lakeside before football took a pause for 2 weeks. And it is great to have it back, of course. There's no crowds here tonight, so wherever you're watching this one, presumably at your home, we hope you're enjoying it, unless you've got your local pub to put it on the screen. How good would that be? Probably not, though. De Godoy looking to drive that one forward. He stabs it low, which was a good idea, into the breeze, and it hit Salmon, but again, good defending, and there's a bit of a coming together. Webster went to the floor and looked like something out of a WWE match-up there between Salmon and Webster, and the free kick eventually does go the way of the Greens, but might have actually been for a different infringement because it's not in the same part of the field.
Yeah, that's going to be a good battle, Salmon and Webster there at the back for Bentleigh, and obviously Alex Salmon up top for Green Gully, using his strength and his nous. It's going to be a good battle, that one. 2 experienced players.
All right, Crooks with the interception. Timmins, De Godoy, and now back to Crooks. Tyson getting everything behind that one and clearing it out on his left. Hangs in the air. Difficult night to make clearances under pressure, particularly if they're on your non-preferred foot. Jago's header for Davies now. Timmins, first time pass, looking for Crooks. Ran all the way through and ricocheting back and forth, and the Greens can relieve pressure by going to the man in pink, which is Javier Lopez, and the Spaniard goalkeeper places over the top, and the boys need to play the whistle here as they all switched off, and I think they might have been onside there, Craig.
Yeah, there was, again, another mix-up in the back, in the defence there of Green Gully, and they've put themselves under pressure again. And
chance for Hort. It goes over the hoardings behind the goal.
Yeah, look, Steve's got him a way of playing football. I don't think they're going to change from that, Steve. But I do think that in situations like we have tonight, that maybe their game style does have to change slightly to suit the conditions that they're in. Playing football is great, but also take into consideration just how windy it is out there tonight.
Well, I don't want to reference another sport like you see so much happening at the Olympic Games at the moment during football matches, but if this was Australian rules, you'd say it was at least a 6-goal breeze per quarter. It's that strong at the moment, blowing straight down the spine of the ground. So,
what sport is that, Steve?
It's a sport. Sometimes you might call it aerial ping pong, but certainly got to mention a few times during the Matildas games recently and the Ollie Roos by the commentators involved.
Yeah, how good was it hearing football being said on Channel 7 for soccer? It's, yeah.
Yeah, well, the old days of 7-screw soccer were almost paused for a moment there until they put on commercials during the Ollie Roos the other night.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Anyway, we are going whistle to whistle today. There'll be no ad breaks during play. This is NPL Victoria community football at its best, and we've got a delay in play here. It's because Alex Salmon has just sat himself down on the grass, and he's adjusting his footwear. He's actually taken off his shin pad perhaps there, I think. So we've got the substitutes already starting to warm up, or at least Anthony Polyak is the man starting to warm up. He's the one who was the unlucky one, squeezed out of the starting 11 tonight to fit in T-Boy Kamara.
Yeah, I think he's all good there, Steve. Just shoelaces coming done perhaps, or pulled a hairline of parting, or he's good to go. He's doing his boots back up, and the referee will get play underway again.
That's right. Well, players with the longer locks tonight need to certainly tie it up tight, because if it escapes, it's the man bun. It will be blowing everywhere. As you can see, Anthony Polyak's tied his hair up very tightly there. You can see him on your picture there warming up in the blue subs vest. This is Jago, the first time pass to Davies. Out there in front of our usual commentary position. If you just joined us, we are broadcasting from the near side of the pitch tonight rather than the outer as we normally do. So the left of screen is to the north and the right of screen is to the south. just to try and bamboozle everyone. The wind is indeed coming from the north tonight, despite it being July in the middle of winter. Now, Canigula looking to get around Walker. It's a good challenge by Walker. Davies can loop away with the ball. And look at Mamadi Kamara, who needs to get a good touch, and he does. He's good pressure from his direct opponent there, which is Bowman. And a bit of space for Kamara, and a bit of trickery there too.
Great turn, middle of the park, and Green Gully are on their way if they can keep this ball moving. They've and it's always good, you know. You can see the goal early on, pressure's sort of on you a little bit. So if you can get a bit of time where you're getting the ball down, Steve, and passing it and keeping it, it does make the team a little bit better.
Yeah, well, they are known as one of the possession sides of NPL Victoria, but they've lost possession here, and the Bentleigh Greens are on the charge looking to make it 2, and there's the curling effort. It just goes past the far post there. And, well, the Bentleigh Greens are happy just to sit back, absorb the pressure, and then strike like that. And that almost found the top right-hand corner there.
Yeah, and that's come from, talk about keeping possession. That's come from a loss of possession in the final third for Green Gully there, and a 2v2 at the back, and almost caused them more problems. But they got away with it.
Yeah, it was a good hit by Alex Caniglia. And wasn't far away from the top corner as Crooks looks to play it back to his keeper, and that's how they came unstuck earlier with that combination between, it was Hall and the man in the sticks there, which is Tyson. Presented a gift-wrapped opportunity for Crowley to score his 8th of the season. Now, Mamadi Kamara on the charge here and hangs in the air. Almost sat up for him, but Lopez out off his line expertly to clutch that one. He's a very busy keeper, is Javier Lopez. He's looking to get the ball moving quickly, and he does that through Webster. This is Dover, the man coming into the starting 11 tonight. He's back to Carrigan. Ben Carrigan, the former Melbourne Victory star. He turned 23 last Sunday. Had a little lockdown birthday for the second year in a row.
Sure, there's a few of them around the country, Steve.
There certainly is, and there'll be a few more to come if you're living in Sydney. And hello to everyone who is tuning in from the Harbour City. We hope you're enjoying a bit of football, and hopefully it's not too long before the NPL is back in your state as well. Certainly good to have it resuming here. As we said, there's no crowds here, so everyone here is an official delegate of the match with a match day function, providing proof of entry, check-ins and everything required these days. Headed by Hall, goes straight up in the air. Degorre lets it bounce. He's going to volley it straight back up into the air, and it goes up in the air and catches the wind and comes down again. Could have brought rain.
Oh, we don't want rain as well. It's bad enough for the wind, Steve.
It's a chance for Hall. He's popped up in the half space here.
He's not getting that.
That's a good idea, but just sails with the wind into the back fence there. Tyson plays it long. It's flicked on by Jego, and a good first-time pass by Salmon, and then release T-Boy Kamara to try and get him involved into the game. This is T-Boy Kamara looking to go around his man, which is Alexander, but he does well there. Yeah. Good defending, Jacob Alexander, using all of his experience there. T-Boy Kamara, a difficult opponent to play against when he gets his confidence up. So the Bentleigh Greens happy to allow possession for Gully in these areas and then strike and press as a group now. This is Mamadi Kamara. Crooks with the turn. Finds Salmon. And Carrigan read it better though. Gets the Greens moving forward again. Now Walker sending us the other way. Finds Salmon in a bit of space. Walker continues his run. He couldn't get the return pass.
Just really interesting there, looking at Gully's setup at the back when they have the ball. They still play with a very high winger, Steve, and that could cause them a problem as well with the conditions today. Having already conceded an early goal through sloppy play. If you have a look now, they're really high. In fact, Walker hasn't this time. He stayed, but leaving that 2v1 and potentially a 2v2 at the back is always a problem. As a coach myself, Steve, I always like to have 3 at the back as a safety net, but it's always a bit of a juggling act, I know, but always more comfortable when I've got 3 at the back rather than 2, because it just gives you a little bit more security.
Well, we've just seen the experienced defender who is among the subs tonight, Daniel Jones, doing a bit of a warm-up routine, so perhaps they're trying to put some thoughts into the players, or even consider going to a back 3, but of course they would probably want to revert back to the current system for when they have the wind in the second half, particularly the fact that they are trailing at the moment, 1-0. If you just joined us, you would have missed the opening goal that happened in the first 30 seconds of the match. Braden Crowley tapping home a gift-wrapped opportunity presented to him by Gully's defence from 6 yards out.
Yeah, maybe not the goal of the season, Steve, but certainly be the quickest, I would have thought.
It probably is. I can't think of anyone scoring any faster than that in NPL Victoria this season as the ball's turned over. Again, here's Crowley, the goal scorer, getting on the ball. And Lambatarides, switch by Sewell, looking out wide to try and find Caniglia out there. Sewell, Webster, Bentleigh getting numbers forward. Bowman. Webster again. Patient approach and now floated into the back post, and Walker read it best, gets it away. And Crooks makes the all-important clearance. Hoare with the touch, and Caniglia. And Walker go at it. And Gully will earn a reprieve. Hello to Eastern Lions coach Daniel Puskasu, who's tuning in tonight. He's getting ready for his match this weekend, where he's got a match against the Altona Magic on Saturday evening, a trip to Paisley Park. That should be a pretty interesting match there. There's a lot to play for both of those sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully the winds die down by then.
Yeah, I don't think the weather's going to get any better. I think it's going to be fantastic in the morning, 19 or 20 degrees, but then I think it's heavy rain tomorrow afternoon and for the rest of the week.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of sunshine later in the week, and can certainly feel the days getting longer at the moment, but we've got a full weekend reminder that it's still winter here, and the seasons like to demonstrate a full vengeance on us when it gets to the weekend.
Yeah, just proof for those listening from further afield. Certainly, there's Andrew Gully that's watching from South Wales. I know Andrew very well. It's not always 40 degrees over here, mate. It does get cold. But thanks for tuning in and listening to the show. Hope you're enjoying it.
There you go. We've got Daniel in the comments as well there. And good man too. He had a chat to us after his team got a result at Knight Stadium with that night that was well remembered by a fine finish by Ryan Losty earlier in the season.
One of the strikes of the season, Steve.
Yeah, you go a long, long way to see a better goal than that one by Ryan Losty, who was actually on the books of the Bentleigh Greens earlier in the season before returning to the Eastern Lions. We've got a bit of a midfield tussle here, and Jack Morgan's decided to give the free kick, and looks like no further punishment.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it before, Steve, but we'll mention it again. Dan's a top bloke and a great coach, and I think last time we were here, or maybe the time before, we mentioned that it was a great appointment for Eastern Lions after the late Jimmy Williams unfortunately passed away, and they gave the job to Daniel Costi, who was the assistant coach at the time, who 2 years ago was coaching in State League 4 at Ashburton United. So it's great to see that an NPL club giving a coach from the lower leagues an opportunity to test themselves at the highest level.
Yeah, I think we've said it before. It gives all the coaches out there in community football hope that there is a genuine pathway to go up to the top tier of Victorian football, and who knows, maybe even further. So keep those dreams alive if you are a coach at local level out there, that there is opportunities for you. If you work hard and show a bit of patience, they will come.
And he's the only coach ever to win Wales a championship, Steve, in the All Nations Cup in Melbourne a few years ago. And I'll just stop there for a sec.
There you go. We've got another chance here for Crowley. He blasts the ball straight into Tyson. Whacks him in the knees and goes behind. And Jack Morgan's gone into a sprint here because he's heard something that he doesn't like. Well, that's what I'm tipping anyway from the Green Gully bench. And it looks like Stephen Downs might be going into the book. Well, there you go. Jack Morgan asserting his stamp on the match. He's not taking any of that. Now, we've got a corner kick, and the obstacle course is the corner flag now to avoid, sitting at 45 degrees. Timmins' header doesn't clear the danger. A chance for Webster. And from our position, it looked like it was blocked by De Godoy, but it was just the swerve and the slice of the kick that was all it took that sent it behind. Now, we have heard from Japan that if you are following the Matildas game tonight, if you don't want to know the score, please turn the sound down now. We have heard that after scoring the early goal, they're now 2-1 down against Great Britain, so they've got a little bit of work to do in that one to try and get through, and we wish them all the best over there because they've played some pretty good football despite the people criticising the final moments of their game against the US, as Lopez gets that ball away from the approaching Mamadi Kamara. Timmins' headers cut off by Lambatarides, and Dover just goes back. And playing in behind again here is Tyson uses his smarts and his nous there to let that one run out. If you are tuning in, please let us know where you're watching from tonight, and leave your comments as to who you think is the best on ground as the game goes on. We've got another game kicking off at 8:30 tonight, which will be underway in just a moment. Dandenong City hosting the Melbourne Knights, so a big Croatian derby down there in the southeast at Frank Holohan. Should be a good match. The Knights should be going into that one as favourite, but you never know your luck, particularly after a couple of weeks of no football. Now, Jeremy Walker, all the way back to his fellow Tasmanian. Now to Godoy. You just hear that wind getting stronger and stronger out there and building up. Timmins into the feet of Salmon. And Webster steps out of the defensive line to make the interception, and they win the throw as well there. So Bentleigh Greens and their coach Nick Tolios, he'll be happy with what he's seen so far in the first 27 minutes of this clash. It's been a long time since Green Gully have actually got a win against the Bentleigh Greens. They have to go back all the way until 2015. 6 years ago, when Green Gully defeated the Bentleigh Greens on that occasion, 4-0 here at Green Gully Reserve. And two of those goals, well, there was a Liam Boland double there for Bentleigh Greens that day 6 years ago. Now, free kick here, bit of ingenuity by Mamadi Kamaras. Won the dead ball opportunity. Well, I don't think he's going to float it into the penalty area. That would be the worst thing he could do.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to play this around. Not sure how, but they've got to try and find a way of... there we go, and we keep the ball. Try and draw the Bentleigh Greens defence out and try and find some space in behind. I think that's the gameplay or the game plan for Green Gully here, Steve, because Bentleigh Greens are sitting pretty deep as well.
That's right. I'll go to Olympic land again and quote another sport. I'd say, to quote cricket, it was a good toss to win for the Bentleigh Greens today to play with the wind in the first half. As the Greens look to come forward again, ball over the top, but again, the through balls are not really working. That one runs long through to Tyson, who's out off his line to make the clearance. And a surge of pace here from Sean Timmins. He's got Mamadi Kamara to his left, He looks to his right to try and thread the pass through to Alex Salmon, who'd made an intelligent run at the back post, but Ben Carrigan was very well positioned to cut that one out. Davies with a switch of play to Hall. He's got pressure from Caniglia. And now it's Hall trying to win the ball. Play on's the call. Lambataridi sprays it out to the left, and there's a chance for Alexander to surge forward, the long-sleeved left back. He just hobbles away from that one, holding his foot. Looks like he's okay, though. Well, probably the man who'll have the most touches in this first half will be Jared Tyson, given the nature of the way the ball's ending up down near his goal most of the time. Well, Davies hit a sweet volley there, but only succeeded in striking it towards the Green Gully dugout and into the fence.
Yeah, I could see what he was trying to get the ball in behind with a volley, but totally mishit it and went out for a throw in the Bentleigh Greens half here in their striking orange kit. Steve, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it looks like something you'd see from like a, I'm not sure, like
Valencia.
Well, it's got a little bit of Valencia about it,
isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of Valencia. Well, certainly not at the Mestalla tonight, but beautiful city to visit, Valencia. When we used to be able to go and travel to places, really enjoyed a trip there going back 11 years ago. And there's a handball there.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen the volleyball, the beach volleyball. Well, that was a dig and a set there, and we just didn't get the spike as well.
You can hear the Green Gully coaches having another go, because that definitely came off the hand of.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to go the other way myself as well. I think maybe both players got a touch on it, but the more noticeable touch was from the man in orange.
Here we go, Steve, with a dangerous set play here with the left footer that's going to be put into the box and put the Green Gully under defence.
Yeah, Alexander's delivery. And, well, big problems here for Green Gully, because Tyson's come to claim that one. He's gone for the one-handed gather, and he hasn't really come for the catch or the punch either. And Jacob Alexander uses the win to full effect here. Well, Tyson really misjudging that one. We've just caught that one on our replay, and if you want to catch the replay on your YouTube screen, a double tap to the left-hand side will enable you to skip back and see that. And what you will see is Jared Tyson coming out to claim that ball, running under the flight of it as it carried over his head with the breeze. As we said, difficult conditions to play in, but we thought he might have been able to maybe gather that one a little bit more convincingly.
Or don't come out at all, Steve, and stay on your line, given the fact that the wind was that strong and there's a left footer taking the to the free kick. It's going to go into that area. I think if he'd actually let it go, it would have gone out for a throw in. As the pace was quite hard in it. But look, it is what it is. Big task now for the home side, 2-0 down after 31 minutes.
Yeah, as you say there, it may well have gone out, and he may have actually steered it in the goal, so we're unsure whether to credit that one to Jacob Alexander or an own goal to Jared Tyson, but if we want to be nice, I guess we could credit the goal to Alexander. Ball in here, and maybe a chance for Gully. A handy interception, but then the pace of Mamadi Kamara, well, it picks the pocket of Carrigan, puts it back in, and away by Webster. And, well, it's getting a little bit nasty in there. Webster and Davies are having words. Well, possibly more than words, one or two fisticuffs. We've got the assistant referees running down to go and support Jack Morgan with any decision that he needs to make to take any action against these players involved. And he was on the scene very quickly, and despite it looking a bit nasty at first, things did simmer down quite quickly.
Yeah, handbag, Steve. Nothing in that. Just a bit of a melee on the floor and a few handbags there. But referee Jack Morgan's in there to sort it out. I'm not sure whether he's dished out a yellow card. It looks as if he's writing something down, so maybe he has.
He has shown the yellow card to Jay Davies.
Yep.
Just saw it on the replay, and Javi Lopez was the man to come in and really calm everyone down from both teams, actually. So well done to him, playing the peacekeeper. The Spanish goalkeeper takes his goal kick now, and he drives it long with the breeze. Goes over the head of Davies, bounces and runs long. The pitch is fairly firm underfoot. You can see the attempted clearance by Hall just went up in the air. Difficult to clear your lines as Walker manages to this time. Up towards T-Boy Kamara. Pressure from Alexander, the most recent goal scorer. Gets his head to the ball to clear it away. And the ball just won't sit down at floor level at all at the moment, and now it does. Hall. Tyson puts his foot through that one, and as we've seen again, difficult conditions, that just comes down with snow on it from going up so high. Lambatarides with the header. And a chance for Sean Timmins. Lambatarides did well. Chance now for Caniglia out on that left-hand side. He's got a couple to beat, including Walker. Looking for support from Alexander. And Gully just having trouble clearing their lines again here. And Ko de Godoy sends that one long. Kept in well by Mamadi Kamara. Had to use all of his pace to get there before the touchline. Sean Timmins now surging forward. Checks back. Well, they're appealing for a throw, but the whole ball didn't leave the park there. Lambatarides for Hall. Now Caniglia. Carrigan now. A bit of space to step out of defence. Plays it straight to his opposite number in Ko de Godoy, the central defender at the other end, who continued his run but didn't get the ball back. Looking to score 2 goals in 2 games. Over the top here, and it always favoured Tyson before Crowley, who is a pacey man himself, just unable to get there given the nature of the through balls, just flying through with that breeze. And we've got a problem here for Jay Davies, who has found himself down on the floor. And we're going to have a pause here for treatment. We won't go to a commercial break because this is NPL Victoria. We're going to stay with play, and Jay Davies will get his treatment that he requires, and hopefully he can continue, because at the moment things are not going well for Green Gully. 2 goals down. If you have just joined us, that goal in the opening minutes by Braden Crowley, and then from the set piece it was the left-footed Jacob Alexander with the in-swinger that Tyson couldn't handle and ended up palming into the back of the net. Now, Davies is one of 4 Green Gully players on a yellow card, and given that he's already been shown the yellow card for that melee before, that'll be his 5th, so assuming those stats are correct on our Sports TG source, that will mean a suspension for next week's game for Jay Davies, which is incidentally against the Eastern Lions. So again, hello to Daniel Puscasa, who's tuning in tonight. The Eastern Lions coach. That match will be at Gardners Creek next weekend on the Sunday afternoon. Mamadi Kamara, inside to Salmon. Luke Jego with the touch. There's space here for Jeremy Walker. Once again, it's good organised defence from Bentleigh. They seem to get numbers across and close their opponents down as a group. And they're very hard to play through. Well, Kieran Dover looks to go over the top.
Well played from Walker there.
And looks like we're going to see a Green Gully sub in the first half here, Craig.
Yeah, looks like we've got one, Steve. I think just trying to Marvin Beckett's going to come on by the looks of it, probably for Jay Davis maybe. In the middle of the park there, which will be again, you know, when you're 2-0 down and then lose your playmaker, it's that's another kick in the teeth for Steve Downs and his coaching team.
Now Lambatarides loses out now, and now chance for Jego. Good skill from him to find his midfield compatriot in Crooks, and now Hall out there to Walker. And you can see there in the distance our usual commentary position. We've vacated it tonight due to the dangerous winds that are coming across Melbourne this evening. And it's Bentleigh Greens. They're coming on the charge again. There's a chance here on that far side. Now Sewell This is Lambatarides directing traffic. Webster now in the white boots.
Yeah,
Bowman.
Just looking at Jay Davis walking up the touchline here, holding his hammy. So that's probably the result of no games over the last couple of weeks and a bit of a nasty injury that early in this piece.
Yeah, not a good result there for Green Gully or Jay Davis. We see the flag go up there against Bentleigh on this occasion. It was Crowley moving too soon. So with that opening goal of the game, Crowley is now the top scorer for Bentleigh this season. He moves on to 8, and that's 1 goal better than Pierce Waring, who's the man that they're missing tonight. I guess that's one thing that Green Gully can be thankful of, that Pierce Waring is not also out there as well tonight, because he's been on fire this season, particularly lately, scoring a double last week, one of them from the penalty spot, one from open play. Oh, sorry, should I say last week? Last outing, which is 3 weekends ago now.
Tell you what, the Filer household was breathed a big sigh of relief on Tuesday when Daniel Andrews opened the gates for us to get out this deep, because my missus was climbing up the wall with me with no football. So
yeah, it's a scary proposition, Craig Filer, and no football, as Salmon makes a strong tackle there on Lambatarides. Play on is the call, and Bowman just goes back to Lopez. He always got so much urgency when he gets on the ball. Dover, and Lambatarides rides one challenge and wins the free kick for it. And Matty Crooks is not happy the decision went against him, but it did, and now there's a chance for Hoare here. Overrun by Green Gully opponents. Jeremy Walker making a charge. Can he get a good ball in, though? He sets a task for Alex Salmon, who won't be able to get there. So, yes, if you just join us, 2-0, Braden Crowley and Jacob Alexander, men with the goals so far. Perhaps it's a 2-goal breeze, so maybe that's kind of like nil-nil at half-time. But I don't think it necessarily works that way, of course.
No, well, I certainly don't think Bentleigh Greens are going to give a sloppy goal the way that Green Gully did in the first 30 seconds of the game, Steve. So, but look, it's been a pretty competitive game, apart from two mistakes really. Gully haven't really put any pressure on Lopez in goal there, down to the fact that obviously the conditions are very, very hard for them to try and get forward. With the wind in their face as much as it is, and that's a free kick there. But they've done okay, Bentleigh Greens, without really, really causing. Green Gully have done very well considering. But Bentleigh Greens look very, very secure and very, very well organised, and I'm sure at half time it'll be, let's just keep it nice and tight. We've done the job. Let's get away with 3 points.
Well, the free kick was a worm burner by Gully, and it might come back, but Gully makes another header that hangs in the air.
A worm burner.
One that keeps low to the ground. Crooks with the switch out here for Mamadi Kamara, and maybe Green Gully can mount an attempt on goal before half-time. But I'm sure they're mainly focusing on consolidating and not getting any further behind, and then trying to use the win in the second half, but they do win the free kick. And one upside from broadcasting from this side of the pitch, which is not our usual side, is we can hear what the coaches are saying down there on the sidelines. Still quite animated in Stephen Downs' dugout. In fact, the team manager, Ruben, has actually just moved away. Maybe it was getting a bit too loud for him. And acrobatic clearance by Walker, headed on by Gully and away by Webster. Godoy's heading everything at the moment. Alexander smashes that one away on his right foot. The opposite foot to what he created the second goal with for the Bentleigh Greens tonight. And we have got word, if you don't want to know the score in the Matildas, turn your volume down now. And the good news is that they've equalised. It's now 2-2 in their quarterfinal against Great Britain. So great news there for Matildas fans. And we've got another chance for Hoare, whose shot is blocked by Crooks. And the clearance by Hoare goes up in the air. So that's a challenge that Sewell read the best, and his touch was a little bit too heavy. Walker makes the clearance. Long throw by Alexander. Good header by Hall. As we are in the shadows of half-time. Great turn by Dover. No free kick. Well, he was a bit stiff there. I felt like he got bundled to the ground. He gets up and chases back without any complaint, though. Walker, can he get a good cross in? On pitches and bounce a couple of times and runs through to Javier Lopez, who hasn't had a chance to get his kit dirty at all in this first half. Timmins now, a little bit of time. Hall.
Update from Dandenong City, Steve. Dandenong City, the home side, taking an early lead there against Melbourne Knights. Dandenong City 1, Melbourne Knights 0.
There you go. Well, we've got 1 minute added on here for the end of this first half. Thank you to our fourth official down there, Kevin Horner. But that's great news for Dandenong City because that moves them out of the relegation zone, the live ladder.
Makes tomorrow's game with Eastern Lions and Altona even more important now, Steve.
Well, it's heating up at the top of the table, but the relegation battle as this season closes out is going to be fascinating because all separated very closely on points. You've got the likes of Dandenong City, Altona Magic and St Albans who are bringing up the rear at the moment. But there's still plenty of chance for either of those sides to get out. Now, Mamadi Kamara's got a chance here, and he played it in, and Ben Carrigan, expert defending again by him, and he thwarted the chance because it was a good ball by Mamadi Kamara, and Salmon had run to the right spot. Carrigan made the intervention. And this will be the first corner of the match for Green Gully in first half injury time. It's repelled by that Bentleigh Greens defence. This is Hoare. Salmon with the chance. And Kamara's there as well. And
great defending. Good save from Lopez there. Right on half-time. That would have put the cats amongst the pigeons, Steve, going into the sheds.
Well, there you go. We were just saying that Lopez hadn't had a chance to get his kit dirty in that first half, and then right when it matters most, when someone might have excuses for a lapse in concentration, he had none whatsoever there, and that's what's so important. That's what will please his coach, Nick Tolios, and he will go in and no doubt have a constructive and positive halftime team talk. But he will be setting up his team to play into a difficult headwind in this second half. We look forward to seeing how that one goes. Any final thoughts from you, Craig Fowler, on the first half?
Yeah, look, a decent first half. Bentleigh Greens, obviously the more accomplished side. Two silly mistakes, really, from Green Gully, and they're going to the sheds, and hopefully they'll get that sorted and come out firing in the second half.
There you go. So as we see those halftime stats, just the one shot on target coming right at the end of the first half there for Green Gully, while Bentleigh Greens with the 2 goals, courtesy of the first 30 seconds of the match where Braden Crowley opened the scoring before Jacob Alexander did the business from the set piece from the free kick on his left foot out wide on the right-hand side. It is 2-0 as the teams go into the change rooms for half-time. Thank you for joining us for this first half, both myself, Steve Curtin and Craig Fowler. Look forward to your company for the second half of this match from Green Gully Reserve. We'll be back to join you in less than 15 minutes. Yes. Good evening. Welcome back to Green Gully Reserve. Steve Curtin with you alongside Craig Filer for the Green Derby, the Big Green. It's Green Gully and Bentleigh Greens at 2-0 is the score at half-time in favour of the visitors. They're in orange tonight in their change kit, and they're getting us back underway. They're playing from the right to the left of your screen at home. We are broadcasting from the grandstand side of the complex here at Green Gully Reserve tonight due to the extreme winds, and it's going to be Green Gully's turn to play with the aid of the breeze in this second half, but it looks like they've managed to concede a free kick early in this one. Referee Jack Morgan over there to signal the free kick to the Bentleigh Greens. Those goals in the first half, Braden Crowley scoring in the first 30 seconds before Jacob Alexander got the business done from a set-piece opportunity with a little bit of help from Jared Tyson. Craig, welcome back to you for the second half. How do you think we'll see things play out now that the across with the teams changing ends at half-time?
Well, actually, funny you should say the winds have changed, Steve, because the first thing I did was have a look, because it would be typical Melbourne weather for the wind to change totally in the opposite direction, and Bentleigh Greens have the wind with them again. But it hasn't. It stayed exactly the same way. It's going to be a very interesting half. Gully now are going to be, you would imagine, going to be a little bit more on the front foot. Good news is Bentleigh Greens haven't conceded in the first 45 seconds, so that's a plus for them, given the fact that Green Gully conceded in the first 45 seconds of the first half. But Bentleigh Greens straight on the attack, Steve, with a free kick on the edge of the box.
Yeah, that's right. So they're not phased by the breeze at the moment, and it's their set-piece specialist, Jacob Alexander, the left-footed goal-scoring left back, getting ready to deliver this one over to the nest of players at the back post. He hits it in low, and it was right in the hot spot there, and Jack Webster was right on the spot, and I think he's thinking, how did I not make it three?
Yeah, good ball in. Obviously one they've worked on in the training, keeping it low into that danger area where goalkeepers don't know whether to come, whether to stay, and a good chance very early on to really wrap the game up.
Yeah, that definitely would have been good night, and thank you for Green Gully. If you're wondering where Jay Davies is, he was subbed off with an injury. He came off feeling the hammy in the midway through the first half, and he was replaced by Melvin Beckett. As Timmins getting on the ball now and winning it back off Dover, and then smashed up the park, which runs all the way through to Tyson, and they can get going here again. And Green Gully, if Hall can manage to turn and face forward, he does now, and plays it to Walker in front of Nick Tolius and the Bentleigh Greens bench. And T-Boy Kamara's pass just goes straight through to Caniglia. Over to the back post. Timmins steps inside to make the intervention, and now Beckett for Walker. A crafty change of direction to send Caniglia up into the sky. Bit of space for Crooks here. Going to get things going quickly. Jago's the target. And there's your experience there from the skipper there. He's done exceptionally well. Again, there's Webster escorting that one over the byline.
Yeah, it looks as if Bentleigh Greens are playing quite a high press, Steve. When Gully got the ball, just noticed it there with their attack of trying to get Green Gully to turn the ball over in their deep in their half, which is obviously a good ploy. But obviously the other side to that is if Gully do get out and they get further up the pitch, then it causes them a problem. But be interesting to see how Gully react to the conditions, Steve.
Well, there was almost a chance there for T-Boy Kamara, but Melvin Beckett's pass just went like a rocket into the fence. So the wind, while it is blowing primarily straight down the ground from the left to the right of your screen, it might be favouring, if there's a slight diagonal, it's probably favouring the angle towards this side of the ground a little bit more, given the way that ball just flew out for a throw-in. Now, it's a crafty little touch over the top here. It's a chance for Kamara to finish, and he did everything he could there, but what a great clearance on the goal line. And it was Daniel Bowman getting there and saving the day because Marbury Kamara was about to score what would have been a second goal of the season for him. But they do win the corner kick over there in front of the bright lights of the digital scoreboard, which sits aloft on top of the shipping container. Now, this is Jigo's set piece. Comes in. It's going to come back to Jigo. We can get his ball back in, and Kamara is in there, and Salmon with the juggle, and now just didn't come there for T-Boy Kamara because it was a good bit of defending again from Alexander.
Yeah, good defending. Good opportunity for Gully as well, but a fantastic clearance. And I think it's going to be very similar, Steve. I don't think it's going to be any different to what it was. If I was a coach here, I'd just be pumping balls into that box because we could see then even that ball from Alex Salmon into the area caused no end of problems for Lopez in goals.
That's right. Well, if they can find one early, Green Gully, it'll set up a very entertaining finish with the aid of the breeze. And Lopez has got all the time in the world here, so he's going to use it unless Alex Salmon comes down to persuade him to pick it up and get the ball moving. And we have heard, if you're following that Matildas game from afar, that what I'm hearing is Tegan Micah has saved a penalty kick to keep the score at 2-2. Now, Bentleigh Green's on the charge again. This is Hoare. And Caniglia now looking to take on Walker. Steps inside onto his right foot, but he scuffed the shot and it just skidded through to Tyson, who wastes no time. And his Timmins can cross the halfway line and send Gully into attack. Well, you can hear the communication there from the Bentleigh Greens. A very organised defensive shape that they're deploying.
You can see that they're trying to press, Steve. They're trying to keep Gully in there and try and force those long balls, knowing that the wind is going to take it. And
well, Crowley had the chance there as a product of what you were just saying, Craig, and it was well saved by Tyson, and the shot comes in, and the danger is now finally over, and it's going to be it will still be a corner kick, but well, that was a big chance for Crowley to double his tally for tonight. And as you say, it was all courtesy of that defensive work that they're putting in as a group there, the Bentleigh Green side.
Yeah, they've obviously looked at that and thought, what issues did Green Gully have against us in the first half, and part of that was trying to get those balls in behind. So we'll stay a little bit deeper. We'll press every ball that they have and try and get them to force it long, knowing that the wind's gonna take it. So good ploy from Bentleigh Greens, and they've started off very well again in this second half.
Ball comes in. It's away by Jego. Marbury Kamara tries to bring it down under pressure from two orange shirts. Now Crooks over the top to Jego. Gets the 1-2 going. Salmon with the first touch. Went into the head of Sewell. And then Alexander makes the clearance onto what would be our usual commentary position up on the hill. And there is one gentleman out there tasked with doing the hill runs to go and fetch that ball. Not before the spare balls come into play, and Timmins will take the throw and get Green Gully going again. And as we say, if you are watching this game ahead of the highest rating TV product in Australia, which is the Matildas, we do thank you for your company. And thanks to Lisa as well, who's given us the score from down at Frank Holohan, where we're hearing that Dandy City's gone 2-0 up on the Melbourne Knights. And meanwhile, focusing back on the action here, it's a yellow card for Melvin Beckett there because he pulled the shirt of George Lambatarides, and it's going to be a free kick in a handy position for the Bentleigh Greens. And we are hearing, if I'm correct, that the Matildas have gone ahead in extra time of that quarter final.
2 less, wasn't it?
Courtesy of Mary Fowler. So there you go. You can keep watching the NPL Victoria action. We'll keep you abreast of any scores as they happen. That's certainly how we spent our halftime breaks, catching up on some of the action from that. Now, Alexander is standing over that ball, and as Craig mentioned, the quality of his set piece on the previous ball was of the highest order, and he does the same again. And can it be finished off here? It should be, and it just doesn't go in. I don't know how that stayed out again there, but goal line scramble keeps it away, and now Gully looking to come the other way through the pacey T-Boy Kamara, receiving from Jego, but his first touch let him down. Now Alexander, skills there, combining with Caniglia. Sending it long. Crowley. This is Dover. Now Hoare. Lopez with the instep clearance, hangs up in the sky. Headed by Crooks. Alexander gets it going forward. You can see the pace of Crowley just causing one or two headaches for Green Gully's defence.
Yeah, and I think that might be the problem for Gully if they try and push up too high, Steve. That Crowley is going to get in behind them and cause more damage.
Caniglia twisting and turning, looking to play in Alexander.
No chance.
And no free kick there against Kamara. It was given the AOK by Jack Morgan. Salmon sends that pass up into the sky to test out the ball control of Jeremy Walker, who decides to have a bit of a juggle himself. I think he might have made a handball there that he's got away with.
Yeah, I think they got away with that altogether because I think Alex Salmon forgot which way he was playing then because he's knocked the ball back 20 metres into the air, which is an horrendous ball to start with.
It was the last thing that Jeremy Walker wanted, and he got lucky dealing with that one.
Here
but
go, Steve,
here they come again. It's Crowley bearing down on goal, and it's a good save by Tyson, getting down low to his left to turn that one behind.
Yeah, exactly as we said as the start kicked off. This half kicked off, Steve. It's Bentleigh Green's putting a really high press on Gully and try to force them long, try to get into any balls that they have in the midfield, cause the turnover, and look to break. And they've done that 2 or 3 times very early on. And if you can imagine, the weather hasn't changed from the first half, Steve, and Gully didn't do any of that in the first half. So fair play to Nick Stolios and his coaching staff. They've got a spot on so far.
The corner floated into the penalty spot. And almost a handball by T-Boy Kamara there. And he gets away with that one. It would have been accidental. We'll just try and catch that one on our replay screen. As that ball came in from the corner kick.
Seen him given, Steve, but would have been a tough one to give, I think.
I think so. It sort of bounced and kicked up high, and it didn't really impact on the outcome. It still would have gone through to Tyson either way. Now, Alex Salmon's been...
Steve, just before we got there, Lisa Nambley has messaged us. The Matildas are now 4-2 up against Great Britain. So that looks as if they're headed to the semi-final, Steve.
There you go. And headed through now is... Mamadi Kamara was chasing that one. All in vain, as it turned out. So Sam Kerr, I believe, is the scorer of that 4th goal as well, and that is just the most fantastic news for the Matildas, who they had a tough start under new coach Tony Gustafsson with several heavy defeats, and now things that look like they're starting to turn around in the best fashion at the right time in the big tournament, which is the Olympic Games. They will be now a shot at a medal, at worst case bronze.
Yeah, it's always difficult, isn't it, Steve, when a new coach comes in with his ideas of and especially somebody that's not from Australia. And of course, Matildas are probably the greatest national team that we have at the moment. So for him to come in and have his stamp his authority on that, and especially the amount of stick that the team had after the USA game. They've come back with a vengeance, Steve, and great result. That if it stays at that 4-2, it's a fantastic result.
There you go. Crooks on the charge now, trying to get through 2 or 3 Bentleigh opponents, and he got a reasonable shot that was blocked, and now a chance for Mamadi Kamara, who blasted into the fence. But better signs, though, for Stephen Downs. His Gully side just starting to I wouldn't say go through the gears, but starting to show something resembling what he would be wanting them to show in this second half. This is Crooks again. He's lifted his performance since half-time, I think. Now, out wide, this is a chance. He goes over the bar from Jego. He picked up the ball out on the touchline and jinked inside and fired over the top.
Some movement on the Green Gully bench, Steve. Looks as if Polyak's getting ready to take the field, just taking his tracky bottoms off. So I would imagine we're going to see him very, very shortly. I would imagine for one of the T-boys.
A smart man rocking the tracksuit pants in these conditions. The wind chill out there is much colder than the apparent temperature would, or the actual official temperature would have you believe. It says it's 12 degrees currently at Keilor Downs, but
yeah, it's about -4.
in the wind it does feel like -4. Let's go with that. Lopez hits it into the wind. And Caniglia hung in the air with that header right in front of our commentary position, but couldn't keep the ball from crossing the touchline.
Tell you how cold it is, Steve. We're stuck inside. We've got a window open. You've got your gloves on. Adam, the cameraman's got a full igloo suit on. It's balmy British weather for sure.
Actually, we've got a real tussle in a tight space here. They call that the phone booth. As T-Boy Kamara finds a bit of space down near the byline. He can get around Carrigan or he can just float this one in, and again well away by Webster. And then Alexander dinks it over the top to find Crowley. But better signs there for Gully. T-Boy Kamara finding that pocket of space. And here they go again as Alexander looks favoured to get to this one. And we'll await the linesman's decision, which is a goal kick. As you were saying about the temperature, I wish we could turn the camera onto our cameraman Adam just to see how he's rugged up, because he's doing it in style here. He's got the full hood on, the hat.
God knows what he would have had if he was on the opposite side of the field. Hey. Doing a great job, Adam. Thank you very much. It's a different view of the pitch tonight for you, but hopefully it's not detracting from the game. We just had to make sure that we were all safe as well.
And hopefully, if you're watching at home, we hope you're not being thrown too much. Everyone's very used to the broadcast coming from the outer side here on the hill, and we're coming to from the grandstand side here today. So up is down and down is up, and the wind is blowing from the north, and it's winter, so make sense of that. Now, Green Gully have made that double change, and we can see that they have brought on Daniel Jones and Anthony Polyak. The players who have come off include Sean Timmins. And I'll just confirm that second player who's gone off. Is T-Boy Kamara. That's correct. Now, here's Mamadi Kamara, but he's gone to ground and lost the ball here, and Bentleigh can surge forward down the right-hand side. Webster. Looks like a foul there by De Godoy, and it's given.
Yeah, easy decision for Jack Morgan there. Little bit late, quick feet turned him. Unfortunately, too quick for the Brazilian.
And it looks like the man you speak of there, De Godoy, has shifted over to play as the left fullback. So he'll be one of the taller left fullbacks we've seen for a few weeks, I'd imagine. This ball's played through quickly, and it's Mamadi Kamara doing his share of defensive work, and he puts that one out for a throw. As we see in front of us, the Bentleigh Green substitutes are warming up and giving us a wave to the camera as well. Well done, guys. On the bench tonight, they do have Lewis Pepina, James Exidius, Damien Iaconis, Thomas Fogarty, and Alexander Pavlidis. There is no Pierce Waring tonight for the Bentleigh Greens. There's a late withdrawal as the Greens look to come again, and this ball hangs into the 6-yard box. It's caught by Tyson. And Walker hitting this ball with pace. Pressure from Caniglia sends him backwards. Bit of space here for Crooks in the centre of Green Gully Reserve, striding through the middle. Looking to play that diagonal ball in behind, looking for Mamadi Kamara. But as we saw in the first half, those kind of through balls are very, very difficult to execute when there's that huge wind behind you.
Yeah. All about the timing, when Steve, I think those diagonal balls, timing of the run, weight of pass. It's okay thinking there's going to be lots of room behind, but that wind is horrendous as we keep mentioning it. But the Bentleigh Green boys going through a thorough warm up there, Steve. I think that's the first time we've actually seen them warming up. So they're certainly being put through their paces there.
And it's a good idea too, because a lot of the players are dressed almost similar to our cameraman Adam. They've got the hoods on the heads, or the beanies at least.
Not quite. Look at the state. Look at the state on him.
It's like a fisherman sitting on Cunningham Pier in Geelong, as Adam at the moment. But he's given you the best shots here from Green Gully Reserve.
Give us a little treat at half-time as well, Steve, didn't he? Little cakes that he made this afternoon.
Yes, he's not only good at filming the best angles of NPL Victoria and your local footy as well, but he's an expert in the kitchen making those pinwheels. Have to up our game and it's our co-workers here as from Sportscast and the FV commentary panel. Now, Mamadi Kamara's skipped around his opponent. He's now into the area. Ooh. Can he get a good cut back? And he almost does, but it's blocked by Webster. It goes behind for a Gully corner kick, and we'll just catch that one again in the replay. That was a great run by Mamadi Kamara.
Yeah, I thought he might have been too honest there, Steve. I think he had an opportunity to go down in that box there, I think, but fair play to him. He stayed on his feet. He sort of went to go, but stayed on his feet, so well played, young man. There would have been many that had gone down and fooled the referee there.
Well, it hung in the air, and it was difficult for Lopez there, as we saw with Tyson in the first half, but that one ran a little bit too long and to safety as far as the Bentleigh Greens were concerned. As you can see in the digital scoreboard in the background there, the Bentleigh Greens are 2 goals to the good in this, the Green Derby, the Big Green at Green Gully Reserve. And it's the men who tonight are in orange looking the goods. Braden Crowley scoring his 8th of the season in the first 30 seconds of the match. Jacob Alexander doing the business from the set piece opportunity with a bit of assistance from Jared Tyson and the wind. And that ensures that we have a 2-0 scoreline. So we're in the 68th minute. So there's plenty of time for Green Gully to find their way back into this. And Bentleigh Greens have had a couple of chances to finish it off too since half-time against the breeze, which is no mean feat.
Goal here, Steve, and turn the game on its head.
Excellent skill from Caniglia there. Finds Mitch Hoare. Back to Alexander. Working into tight spaces, and you can see, well, one of the security guards has just lost his beanie in front of us. That's how strong the wind is down there.
He's worried about his hair as well, Steve, but he actually didn't have any.
That up, but it's 10 out of 10 for follicle-related observations there, Mr. Filer. And I guess what you can say, it takes one to know one, I suppose, as well.
Absolutely.
Beckett for Salmon, who's popped up out wide on the right. He didn't get his foot around that one at all, as much as he hoped. So you can see that's a feature there now. Polyak and Salmon just trying to interchange positions and ask one or two questions of the Bentleigh Greens defence, which has been very solid so far. A lot of experience back there with Jack Webster in the captain's armband alongside Ben Carrigan, who you could maybe call him a young veteran. It feels like he's been around for a while. He only just turned 23 last Sunday. Mamadi Kamara into Salmon, trying to show some craft. Now Crooks, who's getting his confidence up. And De Godoy, the makeshift left back. His cross was repelled, and now's a chance for Hoare. Great pressure by Jones. And the shot from Salmon ends up coming as play developed, and, well, appeals from everyone in the Bentleigh Greens back four for offside against Mamadi Kamara in the build-up to that shot by Alex Salmon, and not heeded by the assistant referee. as the gusts of wind increase to almost cyclonic levels. We hope you're keeping safe and sound wherever you are at home tonight. Last thing we need across Victoria is any more trees coming down after the winter storms that we've already had going back to 6 weeks ago. Now Crooks with the turn, runs into trouble, and easy for Webster to make the interception, playing it up forward. There's Sewell. And Webster stepping out of defence to build up the play, and Lambert's over the top. Plenty of room here for Jacob Alexander to saunter forward. Try and get a good ball in. It's partially blocked by Walker. And time now for Walker to get his eyes up and have a look down the field. And Carrigan cutting that one off. And it's out by Hall. Jego with a crafty header. It finds Polyak, who was directing traffic before he received the ball.
Yeah.
Always one step ahead. Walker's diagonal pass. Ran straight through to Bowman. Chance now for Jego, who shaped to shoot from... Well, I mean, when the wind is this strong, maybe that's the idea, to try and test the keeper out from range, but that shot didn't come off as he hoped. Yeah. And Polyak, I fancy, would have been flagged offside there, but it didn't matter because that one did run out for a goal kick.
Couple of score updates, Steve, from around the ground. Half-time at Dandenong City. They're 2-0 up against Melbourne Knights in what will be a fantastic result for Dandenong City. In State League 2, Steve, Westgate, top of the league. Westgate are losing 3-0 at home to 4th place Mill Park. So big result there at half-time at Westgate Football Club. And how's the Matildas doing? Are they home and dry? And please let us know.
We're still just hanging in there, I think. It wouldn't be right if it wasn't a nervy finish. And at the moment here, it's Green Gully trying to make it a nervy finish for the Bentleigh Greens, but the Greens have got all the answers at the moment. And I think we've got a full time. 120 minutes is complete over in Japan. I think the Matildas have sealed their qualification for the semi-finals of the Olympic Games football tournament, and congratulations to them.
Absolutely. Great result, that.
Now, Walker's set piece doesn't quite come off, but flicked on well by Jones. Jones goes for the second ball. Alexander and Polyak do battle. Caniglia loses out. Polyak going the long way around Alexander. That didn't quite work, and Sewell was there riding shotgun to pick up the loose ball. Hall's shown too much of that one, but Gully get away with it. See, it's just a fraction scrappy given the nature of the conditions here. That's understandable. Hard enough coming back from a couple of weeks off now. The ball through to Jego. It might just sit up for him. It had a bit of backspin on it, but even then when it looks certain to stay in, it still went out given that breeze. It's just, the through balls are just not a good feature of playing to the right of screen tonight. As you can see, when you look in those corner flags in your picture that are at 45 degrees to the ground rather than perpendicular.
Yeah, I thought Luke Jego might have got that, but then it just spun off and out for a goal kick.
I think it actually gathered pace after it bounced.
I think it did, yeah. We've spoken about the Matildas and a fantastic win there for them. What was your thoughts on the Olyroos, Steve?
Well, it's a can of worms being opened up here. I have to say I was just a little bit disappointed the other night that they couldn't play a bit more of a proactive game style in the first half, and I think we had a bit of trouble with trying to create anything of a goal-scoring opportunity until we brought Arzani on in the second half and then turned the tide a bit, but it was too late because Egypt had taken control of the game. Your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, Steve, I've said it on social media. I thought I was very disappointed in how the Olyroos set up. I thought, looking at the players, certainly after the Argentina game, that I thought they were fantastic against them. I just thought they could have been a little bit braver. I just thought, certainly in that the final game, with the suspensions that they had. Yes, they missed the likes of Nathaniel Atkinson on the right hand side, but I just thought that they might have been a little bit braver, especially with Agostino and Perez and Tilio on the other side, that they might have gotten in behind, but they didn't, and unfortunately they're on their way home.
Well, I guess nonetheless they can come home and give themselves a pat on the back for that great performance against Argentina, and hopefully that's something that we can build on. And not only that, it was our first time qualifying for some years as well, so if you look at it from different points of view, there's a few different mixed feelings about it. But,
overall, Steve, I think you've got to look.
We've got a bit more fisticuffs here as we just get back to live play.
Yeah, look, I think with it overall, Steve, the future's very bright. There's some very, very talented young footballers in there, and more experience for them playing in big competition that they can now bring back into the fold here in the A-League. So overall, a disappointing but a worthwhile exercise for the youngsters.
That's right. Now that ball runs over the top, and it was a feature of that Argentina win. We think we had 11 out of the starting 11. We had 7 A-League players of the most recent A-League season playing in that win over Argentina, and that's fantastic to see. As we've got a sub happening for Bentleigh Greens, Craig, and who are we going to see coming on?
Yeah, we've got James Asidius, who's going to come on number 11 for Bentleigh Greens, and we'll await to see who's coming off. I can't quite see the fourth officials, the numbers on the fourth officials, but certainly it's James Asidius who's going to come on, I would imagine, at a left or right back, and try and tie it up a little bit at the back here for Bentleigh.
There's a chance there for Crowley, and he was unselfish. He got a low ball across the penalty area, but it was repelled by that Green Gully defence, and we're going to see it is Kieran Dover, the man who came into the starting 11 tonight to replace the absent Pierce Waring. He's already got his shin pads in his left hand there, so he's already knew he was making an early mark. So we'll see if Exidius might even slot into a central midfield role, Craig.
Yeah, it looks as if he's going out
or out onto the right.
Yeah, right midfield maybe. Yeah.
So a pretty handy player to be able to bring on at this level. He's James Exidius. As the ball. Apologies if you are having any issues getting a good view of the ball under the veranda there, but we did have to move for safety reasons to the indoors filming side of the ground tonight for the commentary position, to given the high winds on the outer. It was a risk that is not something that you should be taking, and we're not doing that tonight. So we are inside on the opposite side of the ground to what you're used to seeing us film on in NPL Victoria games here at Green Gully Reserve. And I'm seeing something pop up on my screen here. It's a good run by Mamadi Kamara. He must have been very close to the offside line there, and I hope Lopez is okay here. He's gone to ground. We are getting reports now that Sam Kerr is now the official Mayor of Perth. So there you go.
Again,
well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah, she's some player. Had a fantastic season in the UK as well, Steve, for Chelsea.
Yeah, what a fantastic player, and what a fantastic ambassador for Australia and Australian football, and everything that she represents as well. She really embodies the Australian way of playing football more than anyone I know. And now we've got the wind is so strong here now that this set piece will not sit still on the ground. This happening once when I was playing, and a game was actually called off at half time because I put the ball down for a free kick and it was blowing off the field.
A player would have to lie on the floor and put his fingers on the top and hold the ball while the other one kicked glimpse out of it.
I kind of hoped. Sorry, mate, the ball was still rolling. Take it again.
I'd love to see Lopez on the floor lying down holding the ball. It'd be brilliant.
So, bit of one of the old sort of cliched images of NFL football, of the punter having the ball held for him by the index finger of his teammate, ready to have his finger kicked off just about.
But just back to the Matildas there very quickly, Steve, and don't want to harp on about it, but, doesn't it set up the... just wait for a second, sorry. Doesn't it set up the competition coming here in 2 years' time? If Matildas can get something out of this Olympics, it really does set it up nicely, doesn't it?
That's right. It's exactly what we wanted leading into this, and we've been, I'd say, one of the world leaders in the female football game, but the rest of the world has caught up. We saw that in the FIFA World Cup in 2019, that particularly the European teams had come a long way. And now that the Matildas have had to raise their game again, it's just all the more exciting. And if they can go into the tournament in a couple of years as one of the favourites, and justifiably so, not just a sentimental favourite, that's going to mean a lot. And they'll have a lot of confidence going into that. And young players, we're looking forward to... trying to stake their claims to get into that squad of 23 for the 2023 is going to be one of the most sought-after spots in anywhere in Australia for our female footballers. Yeah,
and then of course the Olympics the year after as well. So it's a big time for female football here in Australia.
It is. Now there's a chance for Mamani Kamara. He's been busy in this second half out in the left wing. He's got a couple of opponents to contend with. Now, I'm sure our numbers of viewers are going to swell now that the Matildas game is over after that 4-3 thrilling extra time win. So if you are joining us, drop your name in the comments. We'll do our best to give you a shout out before the end of the game. And a big hello to Joel and Millie watching this game in East Geelong tonight. We hope you're enjoying this one and you have a great weekend planned. And now that we're out of lockdown, you can get outside and enjoy a rainy weekend, I believe, forecast. Now, De Godoy's ball has just gone straight to the linesman, so that's not the target he was aiming for, I guess.
Also, big shout out to Daniel Costi as well. He's listening. I'm sure he's not going to tell us, but it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on the game, Dan, and how you're going to stop Bentleigh next Saturday. It's not going to happen, is it? You're not going to tell us. Go on, try. Give us a shout.
Well, he's got Green Gully next.
Green Gully, I meant. Sorry, not Bentleigh Green. Sorry, yep. Steve.
No, easy to do given the Greens. I think I've done it a few times. Apologies if I have transposed the team names in the big green, the Green Derby.
Well, it's kicking off here again, Steve.
It's kicking off behind the play here, and Jack Morgan's going to have to go and sort this out. We might see, as Brenton Ray calls, at least a slice of cheese, if not maybe even a slice of tomato, come out of Jack's pocket here. Well, I was looking ahead of that incident. I didn't actually see it taking place. Well, Jago goes into the book.
Yeah, it's good refereeing because Jack Morgan was well at field when that happened, and of course they are mic'd up with the officials, and you can see Jack Morgan talking to the official here on what the decision was, and good use of the assistant referees there, and I think Jack Morgan just acknowledging the fact as well. So well done to the officials there.
Well, we're going to see a bit of action from Dane Milovanovic, and looks like, well, we've seen him play as a big central defender. Looks like he's going to come in and do a shift in central midfield, I fancy here, Craig, as Luke Jago's been taken off the field after that coming together.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of physical attribute that he has in the middle of the park there, Steve, and maybe try and stop Bentleigh Greens from dictating the play in the middle of the park.
Walker now playing inside with a 1-2 to Beckett. Well played. Simon needs to flick this on, but it was again Webster getting the header over the top. He was the second man up, but he got the header executed perfectly. Now to Godoy's ball in. Simon gives the thumbs up of endorsement. It was the right idea. It just needed to have a bit more spin on it, perhaps, and it might have hung up for Salmon to be able to try and volley home.
We've got a big 6 minutes left in this game, Steve. For Bentleigh Greens, they have to find something pretty quickly if we're going to force an entertaining last 3 or 4 minutes. So, Bentleigh Green's doing everything right at the moment, causing problems, pressing Gully every time they get a ball. But as we know, one mistake, one opportunity, and it's game back on.
Well, we've got a couple of shout-outs to give, and we've got Julie Webster, mum and dad of Jack, watching from a wet and windy UK. Well, if it's more windy than here, you're doing well. Not that it's a competition, you're doing quite well, but glad that you're enjoying seeing Jack play an excellent game tonight. And hello to Jakey Alexander's father, Bruce, tuning in from Brisbane tonight, where the weather is probably much nicer than this. I'm imagining it's probably dropped down to a cool maybe 19 degrees there tonight or something like that.
But it's 8:30. What time is it now? 10 o'clock. Everything be closed now in Gold Coast, in Brisbane, won't it?
I don't know, you're confusing it with Adelaide, I'm not sure.
Would have closed about 4 o'clock.
There's a chance here for Gully if they can just get something on the end of this, and it won't go in, and it's a free kick to Bentleigh, who come away unscathed. Jack Morgan's got some answering to do. Jordan Hall and other Green Gully players are a bit upset with the decision, and we'll just catch that on our replay screen. It was such a scramble. I'm actually not sure what Jordan Hall was specifically appealing for, but perhaps it was something that wasn't so visible from this side of the ground. And we have neglected to mention a substitution did take place, and it's the 19-year-old for the Bentleigh Greens, young Lewis Perpina, who's in the number 2 jersey. And he's a smart man too, because he's got the gloves on there as he's lining up on the left wing in the position that was taken by... it was Caniglia's position, Alex Caniglia's position earlier, so he's stepped in there. He's not the tallest lad.
Gloves
on. Oh, I'm a big fan of
the.
I'm a big fan of the gloves. I know you Brits probably don't think it's the toughest look going around, but I lose feeling in my fingers and I can't play very well then.
You play with your feet, don't you?
Well, that's true, but then also I get a bit of numbness in the feet too, which is no good. So.
You never had an extra pair of socks on, wouldn't you? For that?
To say, yeah. I don't know. When I'm out running, there's something about putting the gloves on. If it's got to be single-figure temperatures, though. It can't be anything more than that. I'll get too hot. But I always find that I actually run a bit quicker when I've got the gloves on for some reason. Maybe it's just because it's that cold at the time. Now, Lopez's goal kick has gone into the hard standing area here in front of us. Flick on by Salmon. Basically hit Carrigan in what was almost a bit of a falcon, but he jogs back to position.
Good showing from Green Gully in the second half, Steve. At least they've showed a little bit of fight and trying to create some opportunities. And I still think they might. Ooh.
Whoa! Well, Mamadi Kamara went for the spectacular there, and Bowman's gone to ground, and Jones is not having any of it. He's physically picking him up off the ground, which is something that I think some of the Oilaroos wanted to do against Egypt the other night.
Yeah, look, I got a bit of sympathy for him. The ball's there to be won, and. The fact that he's thrown his head at something that probably shouldn't is not Kamara's fault. So yeah, I think Daniel Jones has got a point there, but he's obviously caught him. And it is a free kick to Bentleigh Greens with just over 2 minutes or just under 2 minutes of normal time to go.
It's always an awkward one, a bicycle kick, and it's a skill in the game that is something that's just the most unique thing to football that's so good to watch, and you don't want to discourage it. And sometimes you do see players score a goal from a bicycle kick when there's someone's head right in the way. I remember Bruno Fornaroli doing something similar and scoring in the A-League when he was at Melbourne City a couple of years back, and the goal was given, but because who would want to take a goal off someone who's just scored a sensational bicycle kick? But in this decision, I think Jack Morgan he's made the right choice there, but it would have been good to see Mamadi Kamara connect with that one. It would be a nice moment of brilliance from Green Gully. It's been a little bit of a drab night, but as you say, the second half has given some encouragement to their coach Stephen Downs, but the bottom line is they're still sitting in 10th on the table and not where they want to be, and they're not getting any closer to any kind of late season charges for that top 6, that's for sure. And the news of the injury to Jay Davies, which looks like a hamstring, is also not what they wanted either, because he's such an important figure in this team. Now, tussle here, and free kick goes against Jordan Hall, as it was the substitute Damien Iaconis winning a very handy free kick to win too. So that'll just settle things down now as we approach injury time in this second half. Smart play by Iaconis. Well, we eagerly await to see the amount of added time that will be added on as Polyak tries to use his speed to get around his opponent there, which was Carrigan. And well, you can probably just about hear that in your effects, Mike. I'm running with the ball, says Anthony Polyak. He did look a little bit stiff to concede a free kick there. He didn't do a lot wrong, but the decision goes against him.
4 minutes, Steve, on the fourth official. No, I agree with you there. I think it was a bit stiff. I think it was probably more of a obstruction from Alexander than it was a foul from Polyak. But unfortunately, it goes the way of Bentleigh Greens, and they get their free kick, which is not what Gully needed with just under 4 minutes of play to go.
No, they really need a goal, and they need a goal now, but they haven't looked too much like it. Apart from a few fleeting moments. Beckett's pass. They need to get the ball going forward now. Jones goes to over the top. And Carrigan again, who's been excellent tonight in defence. He won the header. Now here's the substitute, Pepina. Walker, good skill, finds Salmon. He's got Crooks in support. Now, just about could have got a first-time crossing on his right, but he elected to come back inside. Now Beckett, under pressure from a couple of orange shirts, hits a cracking shot, and that was very, very close to the left-hand upright there, and Lopez breathes a sigh of relief as he sees that one go by, as we see Mamadi Kamara taking that one over to the corner flag. Well, Lopez says I actually didn't save it at all. It was just a shot off target.
Yeah, he had, I think he had that covered, but a good shot there from Beckett, but I think it's going to be too late now. Unless something remarkable happens in the last couple of minutes of this game. It's a free kick there and pushing it back, and as we see the Gully backline,
the big men are
quickly get into that box. Yeah,
they're going on a forward pilgrimage now. Last roll of the dice here.
Now this is a big kick because he needs to get the weight of this right, otherwise it's out for a throw.
Right.
So
interesting positioning of Lopez here as well. He's well out of his 6-yard box, so he's ready to come and capture this one. But they need to get this ball forward quickly. And Tyson has come up alongside Walker. Gets it into the right area.
Side.
And the free kick goes against Jones. As in fact, it was Milovanovic who won the header. And I can only assume that was for a bit of argy-bargy, a bit of a push, as the ball from Jeremy Walker was being floated in. He put it in a pretty good area, did Jeremy Walker there. And Milovanovic got the clean header, but not before. It was a minor infringement on a Bentleigh Greens opponent. And we await the referee's final whistle here now.
I think there's going to be a bit of time wasting here from the Bentleigh Greens. They're going to get another substitution on. Steve.
Top runs all the way through to Jared Tyson, who gets us going again. We're into the final seconds here at Green Gully Reserve. It's going to be yet another result for the Bentleigh Greens, continuing their dominance over Green Gully. It's lasted for 6 years since the Gully side last got a win against the Bentleigh Greens. Crooks, can he get a ball in? No. And that is full time. We've got a little bit more afters going on out there on the final whistle. Certainly been a bit of hostilities out there as this match has gone on. And Jack Morgan's had a busy night because his official duties haven't been completed yet, because he's going to try and separate these players. Just tell them to cool their jets. As we see Jack Webster gone to ground. He's got a few cramp issues just right on the final whistle. So the wind picks up again. So it's full time anyway. And it's a good result for the Bentleigh Greens. They move into second on the table, at least temporarily, on the ladder after round 23. So they're looking the goods. They've got a couple of decent opportunities to add to that tally as well, because next games they have fixtures against Dandenong City, Eastern Lions, and then the Melbourne Knights in their next three, while Green Gully will play Eastern Lions next week, followed by St Albans and Port Melbourne. They are their next three fixtures for their respective sides. Craig Filer, have we got any score updates from that match at Dandenong City? I see.
No, in the second half there, Steve, and it's still 2-0 to Dandenong City, and that game is now live on the NPL Victoria page if you choose to switch over.
There you go. So if you finished listening to us bang on about this match, the Big Green, you can go and enjoy the last 30 minutes of that one. Craig, any final thoughts, or does that match pretty much speak for itself after that second half?
Yeah, I think so, Steve. Two sloppy goals for Green Gully has cost them the 3 points there. But enjoyable game, very difficult conditions, and I think Bentleigh Greens over the course of the 90 minutes were the better side and deserve the 3 points.
It's Braden Crowley and Jacob Alexander are the two men that made the difference for the Bentleigh Greens as they get the win. It's another win for them, their second of the season over the Green Gully side, and they march into second place. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a fun night for us, undercover, out of the wind. We hope you've enjoyed this match as well. We look forward to bringing you more matches over the course of the weekend. And of course, now you can, as Craig said, flick it over to that match between Dandenong City and the Melbourne Knights. Thank you for your company. I've been Steve Curtin and Craig Filer with me as well. And we look forward to bringing you more games over the course of the NPL Victoria season from Green Gully Reserve, where it's Green Gully 0, Bentleigh Greens 2. It's a good night.